o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Maybe. Good.
Yep.
All right, roll call.
Okay. Mach. Here. Holland. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Bell.
Here.
Ludwig.
Here. In front of you have the minutes from the last meeting, which was February 5th, 2018. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right. Do we have any audience items today? Anyone here to speak? Okay. Next item up, consider a motion to recommend to council to approve the Polk City Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development request to use the town square for Sounds on the Square series, which are the dates listed May 25th, June 29th, and August 3rd. This is an annual event. Any questions on those concerns? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll motion. I second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Next up is to consider a motion to recommend to council to approve the request by the American Legion and TLC for use of town square for placement of flags beginning at 5 o'clock on Friday, May 25th until Monday, May 28th, on Memorial Day weekend. Were you just going to speak to that?
Everybody remember me from last year, Rob Haskell. I was the commander, and I stepped down from everything got busy with the National Guard and whatever else, and then the last 2 weeks for vice commander, so that didn't work out too well for my time. But anyways, it's going to be the same thing as last year, except a couple changes. We're going to do the ceremony at 10 a.m. instead of 4 p.m. And I thought Tracy was, I think she wanted to work with whoever mows the grass about trying to get flags out around the square earlier, because the first year that we did it, we ended up, she ended up donating $700 to us, and last year for like $280, just because of the lack of visibility of it. So I know she did want to work around the start time, at least, of trying to get flags out around the square. And memory serves, they mow on Thursdays, right?
That's correct.
Thursdays?
Right.
Yeah.
You know about what?
They tried to mow it Thursdays,
Yeah.
late for the square. They tried to stay away from Friday morning. Can't.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll just have to have her get in contact with you guys on that whole thing and see what can be done. Even if it's, if she wants to put them out early in the week, go pull them all up when the mowing happens and then put them back in. We might look at that if people are okay with it, because I think the only thing last year that was holding it back was just not being intrusive on the actual, so basically, so.
And our city administrator actually spoke with Tracy a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
The initial request has Thursday, the 24th at 5 a.m., but she amended it to be at 5 a.m. on Friday.
She did?
Yes.
Okay.
They,
All right, well, I
she
should
spoke
probably stop
with our
speaking for her then,
administrator.
so.
We can talk with our mowers too and get them to do a day earlier or something like that.
And that would be really just for the purpose of the.
You can give us a heads up.
Yeah. And she kind of heads up that whole thing with flags, so I'll kind of let her take the lead on that and everything. But that's basically it. Otherwise, all the way it happened, if anybody saw it last year, it's going to be the exact same type of thing. About 15 minutes. We will have gun salute. I will actually have a live person playing taps this year. I know if you know Jesse Gutierrez, he does the country music in Polk City. He's a member of the Legion. Didn't realize we play trumpet too, so we'll have that live, and he's a Legion member. So every year, keep on improving our program and what we're doing, and hopefully get some better. So, does anybody have any questions?
Did you say the Memorial Day ceremony is 10 a.m. this year?
Yes.
Okay.
So the thing with the flag holding and the salute taps and everything. So that we had hardly anybody make it out last year in the afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and just try 10 a.m. because there's other things. I heard that there's supposed to be a walk down to the Polk City Cemetery and stuff that day too. I mean, we handle all the flags out there and all the flags and grave markers for the veterans, but I don't want to interfere with that either. You know, in fact, I would like for there to be visibility of that happening with everybody that's on the square. I'm trying to get this is to where it works so people participate in other people's, you know, patriotic things they're doing on Memorial Day too and stuff. So, but that's basically it. Otherwise, all the stuff should be the same from last year except the dates and.
Well, I'd like to thank you for putting this all together every year. I know it's a lot of work, and
It is.
we do appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
And thank you for your service as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the use of the square for the Memorial Weekend festivities?
I'll move to.
And a second? All in favor? Say
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Next up, can we consider a motion to recommend to council to approve Polk City Chamber and Economic Development request to use the town square for the Four Seasons Festival, which this year is Thursday, July 19th for setup, through Saturday, the 21st. And I'm assuming same layout as last year, just nothing special.
Sheila's here.
Yes, yeah, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
Sheila
there you are.
and I'm the Economic Development Director this year. Basically the same setup as last year. Little spots where we move vendors or whatever, but everything's much the same.
Is the date a little later, or is it just the tail end of that in
It
the
must-
teens?
It must just be the tail end.
Okay.
I've had a lot of questions about it, but John Calhoun has advised that no, always third weekend after the third weekend.
So I think it was like the 14th or something last year.
Well, like, it's been in the teens, but then like some of us maybe assume 14 because it's been like the 16th, 17th.
I know it's been on the 21st before because
Okay.
that's my wedding anniversary. And we
Celebrated on there. Okay, that's cool. 7/21.
Any questions or comments? Motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
A second? Excuse me. Told you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried.
I just want to thank you guys for your support. This has been like a new thing for me, obviously, this year with John leaving with so many years of experience, and I just appreciate your support.
Thank you for putting this on.
It's one of
I
our
know a
favorite.
lot of people enjoy it.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite times of year.
Yes. Next up, we have a presentation regarding a wheelchair swing.
So Troop 7252, one of the Girl Scouts, Brownies, would like to do a Girl Scout project that to help the community, and one thought that came up at one of our troop meetings was to provide a handicap swing for the handicapped residents that we have here at Polk City. I believe there's one down by Angel where she lives, and again, just try to think of a way for our girls to get back to the community. This was an idea that came up. I don't know what questions you have. We were thinking if we, it's a permanent or portable handicap swing for up either one. We were thinking either the Square Park or maybe the Miller Park. There would need to be handicap parking for these families to go to.
I think a lot of the newer parks don't have parking or anything along that line, so those are the only two that I could really think of that has handicap parking. And this is specifically wheelchair swing, so it has to have parking and all that. And it's just the one thing I think that are missing.
Did you have like a survey of how many people would enjoy having something that's handicap accessible?
Well, I do know that I have done some research, and I know that about 6% of handicap, wheelchair handicap people live within central Iowa. So when I look at the American parks that have been built, I don't find one that has a handicap specific swing. They have other accommodations for wheelchairs and stuff like that. But the swing is not one of them. So again, kind of thinking long term, if there's all the different developments that are going in Polk City, if there's other troops or groups in the community that might want to do a handicap merry-go-round or something like that,
Maybe
maybe.
to do a handicap park someday, that would be
Yeah,
amazing.
maybe just something that maybe would call out Polk City versus, any other community, small community around us. It'd bring potentially some visitors into town, and bring other small businesses, maybe some business, just kind of think forward thinking of what we could do for the community. And the troop would fundraise all the money. So the thought is, if this was approved, that we would fundraise this entire next brownie season, and then hopefully it would be a junior project next summer. That is a thought.
Do you know, like, have you looked into permanent versus portable for pricing or?
Yes, and I haven't updated one if you guys care to have one. There was a $2 difference on the permanent versus portable, and the permanent one, or the portable one, is the one that's cheaper or more expensive. But it's about $19,000.
But we didn't know if you guys were ever considering maybe doing like a mural park in town or something like with Johnson. Just would be something nice to just, obviously parking is a big issue. Any of the parks you might here, but
Not all of ours are ones that have parking lots.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the neighborhood ones don't even have parking
Mhm.
at all. So
Which is going to again kind of where we went back to that square or Miller Park. And again, if we do it at the square, again, it just brings visibility to TLC, Rising Suns, and all the different small businesses within each park.
I remember one in Lions Park in Urbandale years ago, and I don't even know if they still have it.
It might be. I was looking.
As a kid.
That would be. I will go and look at that. I don't know for sure, but I would look at the one in Ankeny, and then there's a new one going up in Waukee Johnston area, Miracle Park, and I didn't see plans for that. I don't think so either.
Okay.
Yeah.
different equipment.
So the cost is really similar, but for the permanent one, would there be the cost of the installation into the ground?
Yes, absolutely. And unfortunately don't have the cost. I mean, I can look into it if that sways
Depends
your
on which
vote.
park they go with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
If that sways your vote one way or the other.
I'd almost be interested to know if like even the nursing homes would be interested in.
I mentioned that actually to her before too, because I thought that would be interesting. Yeah. Kind of,
You're never
Oh.
fooled.
For young
Right.
adults.
exactly.
Well, and Tammy volunteers a lot with Child Serve, and I mean, you never know if there's accidents, or I mean, we could have. I mean, right now I only know of one, but it's something that is community that we need to make sure.
Right, and to her point, I do a lot of volunteering at Child Serve, and one of the highest requests for us to do with the handicap to take them out to their swing that they have in their little courtyard, because they just love it. Again, which kind of brought to the conversation of potentially handicap.
I was gonna think, besides Miller and the square, what are our other?
Miller Square and Kiwanis, I think. Right, is there a handicap parking at Kiwanis?
I think the biggest thing is can the wheelchairs go down into the mulch, because every playground surface is mulch except for
here.
it's on the square.
I
Yeah.
asked that also.
Maybe-
Again,
No, sorry.
that's just kind of where I'm leaning in favor of the square.
Maybe even looking into the elementary, think they have like a level program, special ed. Who is, because I know, is it Leonard Park? That's right. I forget.
Right next to
Further
the
down,
It's
yes.
closed.
It's down the street.
That they can, it's the pathway.
But again, to his
But
comment, it
there's
has
no
mulch.
parking, and there's no parking.
Yeah, you can't park in the.
Right, and maybe even putting an adjacent to an existing, park area. If it's surrounded by mulch, like Miller Park, then what about like in between the tennis courts and the library building,
Next to the cement.
Right.
I was just wondering, I'm definitely in support of this, but when we've just had like big parks, big projects like Miracle Park, and they don't have this, but they're geared towards handicapped access, is there a reason why parks would be going away from offering this and having the one that you physically move them into? Like, is there, I don't know.
That's a great question.
No.
I don't know the answer to that. And again, we can do some of the research and some of the questions that you have and come back next month with some of those questions, some of those answers. Happy to do that.
Find out if maybe the equipment that they bought like a package group and
Mhm.
move the swing.
I think I have lots of questions. Like, so what would be like next steps then? Because I mean, do we make a motion for them to take this to city council? Like, I'm sure there's maybe something in terms of like insurance, other
There's
type
things
of
that we
cost
need
structure,
to look into as
all
far
kinds
as
of stuff
safety
looking.
purposes.
Mhm.
From a city standpoint, we would probably lean more towards the permanent rather than the portable. For safety purposes, we don't want the liability of a structure like that moving.
I agree. Yeah.
So definitely, if this is gonna be a fundraiser, I would the permanent.
Okay.
We also need to look at the spaces at our parks and see if we even have the availability, from a perspective of the swing and
There's certain
the
fall zones.
the fall zones, exactly. So there are definitely other aspects that we need to look into. We're definitely willing to take on this type of handicap swing. We just have to look more into it. And it sounds like you guys want to do some research also, so maybe we could schedule the next meeting to come back together with the additional questions and answers. You had a question, Rob?
I was just gonna say, we'll need to know what's required as a base for that, because there are specific bases required for different playground equipment, and I don't know.
Well, we didn't know if you guys had a preference as far as the manufacturer, or, if that's something that we can kind of find out that information and give different options of permanent
I think,
size.
I think most times it's an insurance thing, they require so much. And this doesn't look to be very high off the ground, because it's based on how high off the ground things are.
Right.
So, and I agree with Lindsay, I would think we would find.
The gate on these kind of comes down for the chair access, and then the swing rise is pretty low, obviously, so it doesn't have much of an angle. But I'm guessing there's still, the footings would probably pertain to the recommendations for keeping it the most safe. Into cement.
I'd also be interested in to know how the other swing, like how another town is reacting to the swing in their community.
Would you want it right next to the equipment, like at an existing park? I'm just thinking like you don't want it to seem like you're putting them in a separate area necessarily, but at the same time, it may be nice knowing it's for all ages that it's, in an area by like Kiwanis where you have trees and pretty things to look at. Whereas at the square park, there may not be room right there. If you have it off to the side of the square, is it still, nice and inviting, or does it seem like you can play here and you get here sort of thing?
Definitely next to other equipment, because assuming that they have, China
Right.
or.
So I hear what you want us to come back. Is there any other questions that you guys want us to find out? When's your next?
June.
Maybe.
We just have to look at it down.
June 4th. If you could come back with a few manufacturer, different ones, that would be great.
I would think that staff could research some of this with our insurance and things like that. So maybe you guys could make a recommendation to staff to look into this and have it on your next agenda.
Any other questions?
And just thinking like future thought, I know that I've talked to a few of the different Girl Scout troops in town, and it's kind of a struggle. There's like a lot of projects, troops, and I'm sure Boy Scouts as well, want to do for the community. So I mean, it could be a springboard for other avenues and other donations for kids to get involved and give back. We keep more room to maybe add different equipment later.
Is this the idea of one of the Girl Scouts? Or did they get some ideas from adults too?
Well, I mean, we wanted to do something for the community, and I mean, it helps that Tammy and I both do a lot of volunteering as well. So, you know, our hearts are more for children and the disabled children.
Cool. And
So,
the girls are up for raising the money?
this one can sell pretty good.
Yeah, it's all the cookie sales.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
To recommend to look at the staff to look into these options for insurance.
Yes, I think that'd be a wise.
All right, well then, can I get a motion to have the city staff look into insurance and other?
Is that-
this is
We don't
not
have
a
to
motion item.
Okay.
We'll just revisit this
Okay.
next time.
So, like order of things, at the next city council meeting, you guys will just generically talk about the topic and,
No.
no, okay.
We'll just bring this back on the next parks and have it to be a voting item, and then that's when it will.
Thank you.
Probably what'll happen, if the liaison can remember, I'll report on what you guys did and what needs to be done, and kind of just give them a report of what has happened so far.
Remind you Friday morning at breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Wonderful.
send me an email, because I never look at them.
But you where you're drinking coffee. Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Ken, you got anything?
Matter of fact, I do.
Perfect.
We haven't had a meeting since February. Since that time, I've already made my report to the city council. Phil and I attended the Shade Tree Short Course in Ames in February. Took numerous classes on tree identification, bugs, diseases, just a lot of arboriculture type stuff. Tree City USA luncheon was April the 4th. Mr. Anderson went with us to the Tree City USA luncheon this year. Polk City was one of 79 communities in Iowa to get Tree City USA, and my recollections, there's 400 and some communities in Iowa. I don't remember what.
I think that's the figure that Mr. Mahana threw
Something,
out.
400 and some communities in Iowa, and 79 of which got Tree City USA. So, you know, when you see these signs around, they're not everywhere. It takes a lot of work. It doesn't happen automatically. And with that, number one, it's our 25th year of Tree City USA. The Arbor League has been working in Polk City for about 27. With that, over this 27 years, the Arbor League is directly responsible in excess of $25,000 worth of trees that have been planted in this community at $0 charge to the city, and continue to do the ongoing maintenance with that. So, come along, ways. And with the one of 79 communities in Iowa with Tree City USA, we're one of only 19 that achieved growth award, and that again is above and beyond the Tree City USA requirements. There's other things that we have to do to get the growth award. A lot of it is creative grant writing, and we've gotten the growth award 23 out of 25 years, which is creative grant writing. Phil and I have taken care of the spring tree maintenance at Kiwanis Park and the sports complex. Unwrapped all the trees from winter wrap. Emerald ash borer update. Since February, there was an article in the paper in March. Two more counties in Iowa then found to have emerald ash borer. At that time, it took it up to 55 out of 99 counties. And then in April, there was another article in the paper, 2 more counties, so now we're up to 57 out of 99 counties in Iowa that has emerald ash borer, Polk County included. And again, you know, we've been talking about emerald ash borer since about 2010 when it was first found in Michigan, worked its way across, and there's going to be a lot of ash trees lost in Polk County and throughout the state. You don't really see it yet, but when it happens, none of you are old enough to remember Dutch elm disease, but it would be similar.
Oh,
No,
one
I'm
of us
talking to
is.
these guys.
Oh.
I know you're old enough. Yeah, but you know, when EAB comes through, all of the ash trees are going to die, and there's a lot of ash trees on government ground and parks grounds, and other than the ones that are deemed to be a hazard tree because they're hanging over a rest area, they're just going to be let go. So as time goes by, we're going to see a major change in the forest lands of Iowa, and we're directly affected. So Emerald Ash Borer is on our doorstep. The work at West Side Drive Park that we had discussed at the last meeting has been completed. It is now designated as Morse Family Park, and excuse me, there's a boulder at that corner, and then we got the other 2 blocks in that say Polk City. It's a great place to be. Phil and I planted 2 trees at that park for Arbor Day for the school. Since the last meeting, I also put another table and 4 chairs that I chainsaw carved there. Work at that park continues, and the signage is essentially done. And I guess that's,
Park looks great.
thank you.
Yes. And I know I can speak for Audrey and I, at least, for people who've lived here for close to 35, 40 years, the city continues to look better than it was when we were kids. And so, and that's a direct result of your work and the work of the tree board and Arbor League. So
I've got lots of.
yeah, thank you for all your efforts.
It's nice to make an impact, you know, and I've said that all along. You know, if I had done in the city of Des Moines what we've done here, it would blend in, but you can truly make an impact in a small town. Polk City is a great place to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Council liaison report.
I'm gonna tag on to what Ken just talked about the Morse Family Park up there. I've been subbing at the school this winter off and on a little bit, and had a lot of recess duty, and it is really used during school hours. I would say there's many kids in that park as there is on the main lake. It's really used, really appreciated. It's also an educational tool that it's been used for more than once, and just a very much a plus for folks. It's way better than the poison ivy used to be over there.
I didn't even know the kids got to go use it during recess, but I suppose now with the fence down, that is awesome.
As long as they've got an adult out there, I've talked to the school about that early on. There was issues about being off school grounds. And
Yeah.
the city's got insurance, the school's got insurance, they've got an adult out there, and the kids love the park. In the last week, on a half a dozen at least occasions, I sneak up there between recesses, and I put lots of beautiful agates around the park, like an Easter egg hunt. And I put out 15 or 20 agates, and I leave, and I come back a few hours later, and they're all gone, and I do it
That's
again.
where we got them from.
You have some?
Oh,
Eden,
my
Alex,
oldest
do you
came home with some, and he's like, probably is on. That's not.
It's not okay. It is.
The red ones are carnelian agates from Brazil, and there was some Lake Superior agates and some other agates that I've bought. They're for the kids.
I got 2.
Eden's going, I didn't know.
She's like, I gotta look for some.
Alex? Oh, you guys don't get to.
Next time I work, I'm gonna have to look for them.
Talk to teachers about that. Some kids get to go there. Yeah, the kids
And another thing that I'm gonna call on Lindsay to help me with this. Council approved the park renovation that's gonna go on this year, and the bid letting is
We've already done the bid letting.
delayed.
No, we've already done it.
Oh, it's done.
It's been completed. It came in about 254,000. And so now we're just waiting on signing the contracts and the bond.
Okay, so it will be before us at the next meeting probably.
It was on the last agenda. You guys voted. So it will come up again, yes.
Okay.
So that will be Lost Lakes, 12 Oaks, and then just a little bit over at Simmer. Simmer's been dropped down tremendously, basically just giving it a little bit of parking and just a little bit of a fence line, and then allowing for a portable toilet. So, and an enclosed structure for it, like at Leonard Park.
And I think your lady's timing was real good. I think that's something we have to be cognizant of in our parks and our park improvements to keep everything handicap accessible as much as we can.
Yeah, I think new structures moving forward, you should
Yeah.
always ADA.
They'll be mat from here on out with the hard surface mat, or
Mike was leaning towards that.
I hope so.
It's going to be more, but up
Yeah,
front,
up
but in the
front,
long
but
run,
yes.
it will be
Yeah.
worthwhile.
A lot less labor intensive too.
Yep, so, well, it seems.
Okay, thank you. Staff report? Nothing?
Nothing else?
Public Works?
That's all Randy sent me here, was to say that the bids had gone out, I wanted to accept.
Anything from the commission? No? All right, well then we will request a motion to adjourn until June 4th. Motion,
I'll motion to adjourn.
a second.
I'll second.